The fact of the matter is, in American society, we have a mockingbird media that has come out with a massive admission. They did this at the White House Correspondents Dinner. They did it through one particular so-called journalist, and they've confessed to us on their knees that they were deceived, that mistakes were made. And this is around the topic of Joe Biden's dementia. But this can be expanded into many other arenas. In fact, Alex Thompson, who wrote a book with Jake Tapper called Original Sin, and it's about how the mean White House people fooled the people of the press, hiding Joe Biden's dementia, and how the media made mistakes. He spoke, but so did the president of the White House Correspondents Dinner, and he wanted to clarify some things about the profession of journalism. This, by the way, is his picture. His name is Eugene Daniels. He's the White House Correspondents Association president and an MSNBC political analyst. You can see there that he is dressed a little bit like a woman, what with the kind of sadomasochistic boots and the, is that a skirt or a dress and a fan? And in all ways, every form of consideration, he is mentally well and good and balanced and thinks very, very clearly. So we'll get to his remarks and Alex Thompson's remarks. Let's start with the White House Correspondents Dinner dude, Eugene Daniels, and he wants you to know something about their profession.
We journalists are a lot of things. We are competitive and pushy. We are impatient, and sometimes we think we know everything. But we're also human. We miss our families and significant life moments in service to this job. We care deeply about accuracy and take seriously the heavy responsibility of being stewards of the public's trust. What we are not is the opposition. What we are not is the enemy of the people, and what we are not is the enemy of the state.
Hey, look, not everyone's applauding. Some people are making a point of not applauding. MSNBC, who made a point of lying on behalf of Joe Biden's dementia and lying on behalf of Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's lawyers and marketing the statements of so-called public health officials at a time where it made no sense, and they continue to market that, marketing the words of great big companies that invent all sorts of drugs. Very, very obsessed with accuracy. Oh, and they're competitive. That's why they all raced to report the truth of the Hunter Biden laptop, or the truth that President Trump, in fact, was not a Russian asset, or the truth around any of the issues that matter to the American people and their lives and their kids' mental health. And they rush and compete for these stories, except they don't. They have all one single narrative. And they all ignored some key stories, which brings us to Alex Thompson from Axios. I'll share what he said in a second because it's a form of admission, right? When you speak of public health officials, that's an interesting phrase, public health. It conveys the idea that all people have the same health concerns. That's true to some degree. I mean, we all have the same bodies, but not all of us choose the same approach. I have a friend of mine who was a world-class athlete as a strength athlete. And holds, well, he in fact just got another world record. And for years, he held the world record squat. And that stuff will absolutely add up into messing up your body. It's unavoidable, that sort of stuff. So for about 6 months, I've been chatting with him about renew.healthcare. And he's about 98% sure he's going to go there. In fact, it's only at this point timing, because he wants to go down at the right time between competitions. He's a little bit older than me. Still competing, still loves competing. And his body, shoulders, knees, back, ulcers, and like not ulcers, but torn muscles in the front of his body. It's an incredible amount of damage he puts himself through, but he loves what he does. Now, he's an extreme case in that way, more extreme than me in my pursuit of CrossFit. And you don't need to be extreme to need this stuff. If you have massive arthritis and people told you it's just pills, that's all we can give you, that may not be true. I've seen it 3 or 4 times. People who could not use their hands, who couldn't stand straight, who couldn't walk out of their trucks Like couldn't get them in and out of their trucks, so they had to have their kids manage duties. Gone. Stem cells from umbilical cords took that away. One of the special things about Renew is they culture only the best cells. They say no to 80% of the umbilical cords once they get them. They say no because they're not the perfect quality they're seeking. They want everything as near as perfect as possible. Once you get these perfect cells, they culture them so they can use them time and again. If you've been told that surgery or pills or their neurological disorders cannot be addressed, this may not be true. Go to renew.healthcare. It's RENUE.healthcare. They'll tell you if they can help you. They'll tell you how much it's going to cost. They'll tell you how long it's going to take. And then they'll help make it sort of a vacation when you go down to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico to get this taken care of, to make sure you're in the right resort for you. That's Renew, RENUE.healthcare. Alex Thompson made a bit of an admission, or a confession, he might think. He's the guy who wrote the book with Jake Tapper about how the mean Biden people hid Biden's cognitive decline from the journalists who are competing for the story.
One serious note. To my bones, I believe that reporting and the White House Correspondents Association is as necessary as ever. President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception.
The people around him. Alex Thompson was given an award that night. The people around him. Did you see President Biden's decline, or I should say figurehead Biden's decline? Did you know he was cognitively impaired? When did you first notice it? I was doing radio and I'm on record while he was running for president. I began nicknaming him Joe Biden's dementia because it was clear then. Instances like him explaining that he used to drive an 18-wheeler, a big diesel truck, when everybody knew that wasn't true. Instances where he was insisting that his son, his deceased son, had been the Attorney General of the United States of America. This wasn't hidden. This was trusted. These were trusted friends covering up for one another, and Alex Thompson is covering up the cover-up in an awards speech.
But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story. And some people trust us less because of it.
You didn't miss it. If you missed it, you're not smart. You're not observant. You're not open to the world around you. You missed it? You missed a man who trips going upstairs multiple times. You missed a man who blue screened while he was trying to talk to the media. You missed a man who continued to refer to himself as vice president and Kamala Harris as president. You missed the debate performance where it seemed the drugs were no longer working. You missed his statements about things that he used to do, where he competed and won a quarterback job over Roger Staubach. You missed this? Alex, you didn't miss anything. You're part of a culture where it was an unspoken decision to not report on this. It was an unspoken rule because you're committed to one side of the political field. Let's let him finish.
We bear some responsibility for faith in the media being at such lows.
Some of it. If you're an employee who shows up late to work every day, do you bear some of the responsibility for your boss not trusting you to be on time? If you're an employee who lies about the balance in the till, are you somewhat to blame for your boss no longer trusting you with the till? If you're a Mockingbird media who is a participant in elections rather than an observant of elections, who hides things that could harm the Democrats and magnify things, even when they're false things about the Republicans, do you bear some of the responsibility or do you bear all of the responsibility? Whose responsibility is it? We're viewing you the way we view you because it's accurate.
I say this because acknowledging errors builds trust.
Calling them errors when their editorial decisions does not build trust. Okay, I'm committed to letting this guy finish. It's not like I'm going to break in with something the Washington Post wrote.
Being defensive about them further erodes it. We should have done better. I believe our mission is vital in a world where people are struggling to figure out what's true, and people with power are not telling the truth.
You have power. Do I need to go through the list of things again? Oh, I will cut in with the Washington Post here real quick in between Alex Thompson's speech, and then I'll let him finish for real. This is from the Washington Post, the fact checker there. Adriana Usero and Glenn Kessler. Cheap fake Biden videos enrapture right-wing media, but deeply misled. The Republican National Committee posts a clip video. Then the New York Post, the Telegraph, and other pro-Trump outlets followed suit with the same deceptive framing. A particular effective attack on a political candidate came in the form of a video snippet that appears to reinforce an existing stereotype. The social media feed of the RNC regularly churns out misleading clips of President Biden, 81, intended to show that he's too old for the job. No, it wasn't intended to show that he's too old for the job. It's that he's too demented for the job and that he never held the job. And the video snippets weren't selectively edited. They were a man wandering off during a press conference, distracted by something in the background, only to be brought back in by other world bosses. We all watched this. That's not making a mistake. That's making an editorial decision. Alex Thompson here, again, receiving his reward for being a heroic reporter.
I also believe that this association has been, is, and will continue to be critical to that mission. Thank you to the association's leadership for your unflinching defense of the First Amendment.
Okay, I accidentally lied. Unflinching defense of the First Amendment. The same organizations who backed censorship, outsourced to so-called fact checkers, who backed censorship in shutting down channels you found offensive. But it's just Alex Jones. Then it's just this person and that person who backed the effort to shut down Alex Berenson, one of your own, a former reporter with the New York Times. His lawsuit is proceeding against the government, although the DOJ may decide to no longer prosecute their end of it under Pam Bondi if she can take a break from Fox News and make that decision. Only 21 seconds left. I think I can probably let him speak for 21 seconds.
Just now, but always. Your decades of daily battles on behalf of reporters is why this award is one of the great honors of my life. Oh, one last thing. I love you, Mom. Thank you, guys.
Well, that's very touching. Were they battling on behalf of James Rosen when the government was hacking his family's phones? Oh, I'm sorry. No, he was at Fox News at the time. Cheryl Atkinson has made a believable claim that it was state actors, probably our state actors, intelligence services, who hacked her computer over the Benghazi reporting. Oh, by the way, speaking of Benghazi, did we ever go back and apologize for misleading the American people that was a YouTube video that led to that? The Mockingbird media participated in all of that. Oh, and incidentally, on the topic of free speech, he works in a city, D.C., at an organization, Politico, that published one of the most groundbreaking stories in political history, in my opinion. This was called Project Cassandra, where Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden stopped the arrests of criminal cartels out of Afghanistan, working with narco-terrorists in Mexico to smuggle heroin over, through, across, and under our border. They stopped the indictments, named intelligence officials, contributed their names to that report. That article came out, and it was instantly ignored. White House Correspondents Association would do well to take that phrase that the president used, stewarding trust. God himself is pro-free speech. He is pro-accountability. It is Jesus who warned us to not lord our power over others. Alex is doing that. Oh, we just made mistakes. To speak honestly, to look at the log in your own eye rather than looking at the speck in others. The log in his eye, in my judgment, has stopped him from seeing that these were not mistakes. These were editorial decisions, but he's talking about all the specks in the eyes of the Biden people who supposedly hid this from the press. Lastly, to whom much is given, much is expected. You just got a major award, Alex. I'm glad you thanked your mother. Now maybe you should reflect upon the gift you've been given to steward the gift of power. And maybe think a little bit about true sunshine and true confession on behalf of your industry.